Dude, did you know you can subscribe to onlywrestlers.com and keep in touch with your favorite wrestlers? The party never has to end.
This week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed, and you can get 15% off your order when you head to get-blitz.com and use promo code RVD. Get 15% off.
One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I'm going to do the same right now, and I'm going to help everybody in the business by making a new rule which you must comply with.
Oh, so we talked last week about, I think it was last week, about we mentioned that CM Punk took upon himself to be kind of like the locker room leader in the ECW version, the WWE version of ECW. Well, Trick Williams, who was at NXT, he ended up having some comments on Punk about how Punk actually is really helping out people in the back. And so this is the quote he had. I didn't get who he was being interviewed by, but this is what he said. I didn't meet CM Punk until after the rumors about his character were brought about from other places. I didn't know what to expect when I met him, but all I'm going to say is that dude, Punk, man, good dude, solid. You can just tell when some people are just genuine, and he's very genuine. And then he says he takes pride in helping us, the next generation, to become the superstars that we need to be. He gives us real advice, too. He talks about how to handle yourself in the ring, outside the ring, with everything that it takes to become a superstar, even closer to the day's time when we are dealing with different stuff like social media and how to handle everything that comes with being a superstar in 2024 that other superstars didn't really have to deal with all that way. He's been very helpful for a lot of us. So kind of is taking on that locker room leader aspect you were talking about, Rob. So it's kind of neat to see it again, like guys like him helping out the younger talent and kind of doling out some advice in that way. So.
Well, since you said that, I'm going to do the same right now, and I'm going to help everybody in the business by making a new rule which you must comply with. So I'm using my leverage that I've earned, my position in this industry, to make this rule that you all have to apply by, and it's going to make the business better. It's going to make it good again. And the rule is you have to stay in your own fucking realm. I watch all these botch spots on Instagram, and nobody's perfect, but there's so many. And the reason is, and that's why a lot of times I repost them, because it's people doing shit that's not in their realm. And I'm making a rule right now that you have to abide by, okay? If you suck at something, don't fucking do it. If you're not good at a move, don't do it until you're good at it. So now when we see these things with the weak ass little chair shots, and we see somebody, no selling, and big space, there's no contact, this and that, it's because everybody tries to do everybody else's fucking moves, and it's stupid. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should not be doing power bombs and shit. If you weigh 400 pounds, you should not be taking a 360 bump when you get clotheslined. All right. People have their realms, and it should be just like in life. You learn the foundation of wrestling. If you spent enough time in wrestling school or at that beginning stage of your career, if you spent enough time learning the actual fundamentals of wrestling, you wouldn't have time to be walking on the top rope and doing hurricane ranas and this and that. You wouldn't have time for it. That's the way I got trained. If I was doing any of that because Sheik was gone for a minute because he went in to use the bathroom, so I'm doing cross bodies or whatever, that was fun for me. But as soon as he come back, it was back to locking up and going behind and headlock and arm bar and reversals. And it was all about getting close closer and being tight in with each other. And it was all about trying to beat the guy and trying to pin him, trying to get his back on the ground. If it is, to dive on him. And now in school, when you start out, you're learning how to do a hurricane run off the top rope. You're learning how to do a 450. You're learning how to go from the top rope to fly to the outside. That is not part of how wrestling school should be. Just like in life, all right? When you start out in life and you're a baby and then you're a little kid, guess what? You don't have your own personality yet. You're still very moldable. You learn the basics, you learn how to crawl, you learn how to walk, you learn how to talk, right? Pretty soon, you start picking up things from other people. And if you hear a fact quoted by your dad or whatever, that becomes part of your knowledge. If you hear a joke, that becomes your joke. And you use that in public when someone asks if you have any jokes. Why? Because you don't have your own personality yet. Not till you go through life and you study all of that and first learn how to just be a regular person. Learn the foundation, learn the fundamentals, the actual basics, the most important part that's left out almost completely now. If you just like with life, if you just learn how to feed yourself and all that, and don't worry about whether you're going to get a tattoo and how you're going to wear your hair. You're a fucking baby. Give us some time, right? And then you go through life and then you get there. And then guess what? All babies look alike. They're all twins. But guess what? Eventually, they'll start looking different. They'll start having their own looks, their own different personalities. That's the way that you should approach wrestling too. You should learn how to lock up and go behind and pin. And that's the rule that I'm making right now, is that it's everybody that's trying to do everybody else's moves. No. If you suck, you should not do the move. Not on TV. Unless you're good at it, don't do it. We talked about me punching, right? My punches used to suck. And because I would do them on TV, that would stand out of my entire match. I'd have a kick-ass match, all these moves in ECW, and then somebody would say afterwards something about, someone finally said, I think it was Sabu, said, don't throw punches, just throw forearms. And I said, well, that makes sense. Until I learn how to punch, that's what I'm going to do. Blackjack Lanza taught me to punch. And since like 2002 or so, I love my punches better than they're my favorite punches. And people don't even notice, like they might. But if you look at anything since then you'll see what I'm talking about. The fact that you don't notice is because, boom, that polished off everything that I needed. Don't forget, if you suck, don't do the move. If you suck at the move, if you're not good at the move, don't do it. Don't do it on TV. Not everybody belongs using the chairs as the art form that it is. We do a lot of impressive shit with it. It doesn't mean everybody can do it. And it's probably the agent's fault. The agents are probably setting up the matches, thinking of the storyline and just thinking this is something anybody could do. How about, we have a heel run in behind the ref's back and do something cheap, but also keep this in mind. Are they going to suck doing the moves? Because if so, take it out.
Yeah.
That's my contribution to CM Punk's contribution.
I like it. And you know what, Rob? I was thinking about the comparison it could be too, is it's almost like when you do stand-up comedy, a lot of like famous comics, they'll go to just a small club, just to work new material. And it's not being televised. They're not doing it on a special. It's yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, just know where you're at.
Comedy store, there used to be surprise guests all the time because of that reason. They just stop in to work on some new jokes or whatever, and then they would just work them into the rotation. So there was certain nights you'd go there, and just for hours and hours, you could just see this fucking rotation of a huge mega star lineup sometimes there. But anyway, yeah, not everybody should do everybody's moves. So on Instagram, a lot of times that's exactly what I'm thinking when I repost it. Why is this 450-pound guy trying to run and dive over the top rope? Don't do it, dude. Everybody else does that. So why do it? Everybody does a chop fight back and forth. So why do it? Why do something that everybody else does unless you're talking about working on the fundamentals, because that is what holds wrestling together.
100%, Rob. Great stuff, man. Yes. If CM Punk's helping you out, let RVD help you out too here.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
My rule.
Yeah. I love it. If there's anything else I wanted to cover. Let me take a look at my page here.
Yeah, all the botches that I see it's always because of that. That is a move that person should probably try after they've been wrestling another 5 years. That's, a lot of times that's what I think. And it's like, it's not just a story that anybody could fill their shoes. You know what I mean? Like that's why they used to call the moves that we did our special moves, because they were special because we did it. Now, not so special.
That's the thing, Rob. I think about how significant everybody's finisher was back in the day. Alexa, be quiet. I think about how everybody's finisher was so special and felt like, oh my God, here comes a 5-star frog splash. Oh my gosh, here's a rock bottom. Here's a stone cold stunner. But now it's like I even have trouble a lot of the times remembering what people's finishers are like on the mainstream, because it's like it all just blends together. Nothing feels significant anymore.
No, and because they don't sell, I saw, I'm not going to name them. You probably know who I'm talking about. Some of you, if you saw it too, but I saw this spot. The caption was like, okay, this no selling has gone too far or something. And dude gives guy a Canadian destroyer. Boom. He stands right up, hits the ropes, gives the Canadian destroyer back. Boom. He stands right up, hits the ropes, comes at him and does like a pile driver or something. And maybe gets up and then decides to kind of half sell or something. Why sell? And how do you, when you're doing that? No, people aren't buying that. That's not compelling in a way that draws people in to. I mean, they can feel what you're going through if they actually see you. Boom, taking a DDT on your head, bam, and then you're down, and then you can't even get up because that fucking killed you. They can imagine that. They can experience that with you when they see it. If you take everybody's finish and keep popping up, they don't get that. You've lost everybody.